Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the AllCity Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Ronnie 2K saying on live stream that park affiliations are not good for business. This is why we no longer have park affiliations, and this is also why park affiliations may not be making a return in NBA 2K21. I know a large portion of the community wants park affiliations back, including myself. I would love to see park affiliations, and I think there's a good way to compromise and get park affiliations back into the game for 2K21, which we're going to talk about right after we play this video off of Ronnie 2K on live stream saying that he doesn't think park affiliations are good for business. If you guys have thoughts, opinions, or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I would love to hear your feedback. Let's get into the video.
That's obvious. That's whatever. I want park affiliations back. But how do we do it in a logical, practical way? We have been concerned about splitting people in different places. Like, that was the issue. Like, if you were sitting in Sunset Beach, you wouldn't come over to, you would be siloed to that. Obviously, you could travel, but you'd have to reach a certain rep. Anyway, all of that was a struggle, right? So how could we do that from a business perspective? Like, that would make sense. So, like, the 2K17 system did not work. You guys enjoyed it. You definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But it did not work. That's why it went away. If it worked, then it wouldn't have gone away.
All right, guys, so you pretty much heard Ronnie 2K acknowledge that himself and he knew the community really enjoyed park affiliations, but being that it wasn't good for business, they pretty much removed it from the game. And from a business perspective, I understand what he's talking about. They don't want the community being separated. I think the misconception here is that when the community cries out for park affiliations, they're not crying out for separation between players. They actually just want to be affiliated with a certain type of team. So when you had Rough Riders, Sunset Beach Ballers, Old Time Flyers, they were affiliated, and those teams could be faced off against each other, which is what was great about previous versions of 2K when they had them tournaments, the Rough Riders against the Sunset Beach Ballers, or the Sunset Beach Ballers against the Old Town Flyers. This was just something to be affiliated with, and I was a Rough Rider in 2K16 and I enjoyed it. I was a Sunset Beach Baller in 2K17. When we won the tournament in 2K16 and they presented us with a new park on a skyscraper, it felt good to be affiliated with like a championship team. It was just that additional feeling that you had there, that additional challenge that you had when you faced off against a rivalry or a rivalry team. It was just a great addition to 2K. So to take it out for business purposes without considering a compromise was wrong on 2K's part. I think they should have considered an alternative. Instead of removing the affiliations completely, they could have definitely considered an alternative. Like I said, the community is not crying out for separation, y'all. The community is crying out for affiliations, something to connect with aside from grinding just for rep out there. Let alone you grind for higher reps and then it's harder to get games. When you consider there is a rivalry in place there, then you may have Rough Rider players going up against Sunset Beach Ballers, and people like to see that. That's entertaining. This is why wagers are such a big part of the community right now, because people like to see rivalries of good and competitive players going up against each other. They enjoy seeing that. They consume it. They take it in. It's great content. It's great to see that out there. Just adding another aspect of competition within the game is something that 2K and their community is crying out for. This is what I think eludes the devs and eludes Ronnie 2K. I understand if you guys are not aware of this, the business perspective on why they don't necessarily want the community separated is because they have to have advertisements throughout the community. But one of the most simplest things that I say to the people on our live stream, if you guys are not familiar with our live stream, you might want to come on out. We would love to have you join us. We live stream every single day on 5 different platforms. So come join us. We would love to see you out there. But one of the things that I mentioned on live stream that would be great is actually using using the ground for your advertisements or the courts for your advertisements. And another aspect of this also is there's such a big neighborhood with such empty space. There's only really one area of the neighborhood that people kind of gravitate to where the courts are. So you got this whole bunch of empty space and alleyways that nobody's really making use of. And I think they can create areas that, you know, go with a park affiliation. They could put another court where there's an alleyway. They could put another court over there. Or maybe Old Town Flyers would be like on the right side of the ante-up courts. You know, it's things like this that they could consider instead of just wiping out park affiliations completely. That don't make any sense. And that's not a compromise with your community or your consumers, especially when they're crying for park affiliations. You got a bunch of us out here that really enjoy park affiliations. So to make its way back, and if you're worried about advertisements or keeping advertisers satisfied out there, use the ground. Make a particular court. Maybe the middle courts could be just for your particular companies that you're advertising. Put the whole advertisement on the court. People would enjoy to see it. It wouldn't bother us no way at all. You're worried about putting up like banners and, you know, on the big whatever TV screen or whatever they got going on there, and they're really just losing focus. They could put advertisements anywhere, and I don't think the 2K community would necessarily care. They would actually start calling out the court, like, I'm going to play on this Oreo court, or I'm going to play on the Popeyes chicken court. You know, things like this. It's a real simple fix, but for some reason this eludes Ronnie 2K and also the devs out there, because this could be a real simple fix. You could actually use your advertisers as affiliations, because people would play for Popeye's chicken, people would play for McDonald's, maybe the lesser experienced players will play for Wendy's, who knows. But either or, if you're worried about keeping the community together and also compromising to your business aspects, making that compromise and relating it to the 2K community, then you could find a way to kind of keep us together and still satisfy your advertisers with bringing us park affiliations. It's a simple fix, y'all. Go ahead and get it. I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative, and if you did, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we're gonna have a ton of NBA 2K20 content coming your way. Don't forget, leave your comments in the comment section below, because I would love to hear from you. Easy, y'all.